Alors, c'est avec les équipes de Shopify que nous allons passer les 40 prochaines minutes pour comprendre comment les défis du retail peuvent devenir autant d'opportunités de croissance. Le leader mondial des plateformes de commerce unifié va en effet challenger plusieurs idées. La première, les enjeux de l'IA, ceux du commerce omnicanal, mais également les stratégies gagnantes pour la haute saison. Réinventer le commerce, les nouveaux horizons du retail, c'est le titre de cette séquence. Et pour la nourrir, j'appelle Émilie Benoit-Vernay, directrice commerciale Europe de Shopify. Merci de l'accueillir avec moi.
C'est bon? Ok. Alors. Bonjour, je suis Émilie Benoit-Vernay, je suis la directrice commerciale Europe de Shopify et aujourd'hui on va faire cette session en anglais. I'm so happy to be back here at Tech for Retail to share our perspective on modern retail. This is exactly my kind of room, full of people who are focused on what actually works, driving growth for their business. And people who understand that commerce, it's not only about transaction, it's about relationships. It's about turning browsers into buyers and buyers into loyal fans. Today, we're going to talk about the challenges and most importantly, the opportunities that retailers are facing at a time where AI is changing the shape of commerce. So let's get straight to it. Our German founder, Tobi Lütke, says, what looks like smart strategy today is actually just a good technology choice we made years ago. And that really captures everything about where Shopify is at right now. We are realizing that the decisions we've made years ago have positioned us perfectly for this moment. Not by accident, but by design. Architecture has allowed us to move so quickly on AI, on unified commerce, and on innovation. Those decisions, Shopify took them 5, 10, even 20 years ago, and they now enable our advantage. We saw where commerce was heading, and we made the right technical choices. It's hard to copy, but it's these foundations that have set us up for the future. And what I want to talk about today is what are the right technology choices that retailers should take today in order to set themselves up for the next decade. We're seeing retailers' attention focused on 4 critical areas right now: AI, Gen AI, agentic commerce, and how AI is reshaping the customer experience. Resisting the innovation debt, which means why do you need to invest in your tech stack when, and actually especially when, times are economically challenging. Peak season, why winning customers during key moments matters more than ever. And finally, unified commerce, the thread that ties it all together. If you want growth, you need to have a unified commerce mindset. So let's tackle those 4, one by one. AI. So everyone here is talking about AI. This is definitely the word of the Tech for Retail 2025. But let's talk about what's really working and not about the hype. Here's the reality. 55% are using AI for product research, customers that is. 47% for product recommendations. 35% to find unique products. And remarkably, 14% of ChatGPT's search queries are commerce-related. So that is clear. The customers have moved. The question is, have you? This is what we call the Gen AI divide. consumers have adapted to AI way faster than businesses have adapted to it. And that gap represents both a risk and an opportunity. If you manage to close it, you win relevance and conversion. But if you ignore it, then you leak demand. So where is AI transforming commerce specifically? In 4 key areas. Conversational commerce, shopping assistants are the most popular use cases today. Actually, Shopify is partnering with OpenAI, Perplexity, Anthropic, and Microsoft to bring this to merchants. Second, content and data. Faster, consistent descriptions and attributes that improve search and merchandising. That really decreases time to market and it validates accuracy across channels. Promotional strategy, smarter segmentation and creative that adapts to the buyer, leveraged through AI, that adapts to the channel and to the right moment. And fourth, which I'm sure you're all very familiar with, media. Images, video, rich content generated to suit different buyer segments and contexts. All those 4 are real-world applications and have real impact. Now let's be honest. Everyone is promising AI transformation, revolutionary change, overnight success. The potential is boundless. But the journey is complex. The teams are unsure where to start. And the gap between promise and reality has never been wider. And look, at Shopify, we get it. We've been there. We were asking the same questions you're probably asking. Where do we start? How do we get our teams on board? What infrastructure do we need? How do we move from experiments to real outcomes? Here's what we learned. You can't buy your way into AI transformation. You can't outsource it. Tools help, but teams, data, and processes, they actually do the work. No matter the tools you purchase, without proper internal transformation, you won't realize AI's promise. AI transformation has to be built from the inside out. Culture and architecture first, tools second. Which brings us to our second point. The innovation debt. Or to put it in a different sentence, why cutting costs during a downturn might be the most expensive decision you could make. During economic downturns, businesses tend to cut costs to survive. They often reduce investment in innovation and they rely on past successes. This can lead to missed opportunity and hinder a company's ability to keep up with market demands, or worse, lose market position. I think we can all relate to the example of Blockbuster versus Netflix. Innovation is key, especially when customer acquisition costs are up sharply in many categories. Consumers are more selective with spend and loyalty, and discovery is spread across search, social, marketplace, and messaging. So the reality is pretty clear. Retailers cannot afford to sit on the sidelines, or they may find themselves in innovation debt. The companies that prioritize innovation during financial crisis, they position themselves for future success by staying ahead of the curve and seizing emerging opportunities. At Shopify, we practice what we preach. We have continued to heavily invest in R&D, $1.4 billion last year, to make commerce better for everyone so that merchants can move faster with less complexity. Because short-term savings that create long-term drag are expensive. Modernize your commerce stack when it feels the hardest, because this is when it compounds. Even when you're investing in AI and avoiding innovation debt, you still need to capitalize on moments that matter most. Look, we're just 4 days away from Black Friday weekend, so let's talk about peak season. In our holiday retail report study, we surveyed 18,000 consumers and 9,000 businesses across 9 markets. And we have found that holiday retail season has increased, and that whilst consumers are more considered in their purchases, the opportunity remains, including here in France. Yes, consumer budgets remain tight. French shoppers are planning to spend less, set budget limits, and shop earlier. This is not an easy time. But there is an encouraging bit. 72% of businesses feel more optimistic about the holiday season this year compared to last. The opportunity is here, but timing is everything. The study taught us that a significant share of shoppers start earlier. The higher earners, even earlier. Yet, only a small share of French businesses are bringing sales forward, which means that most retailers are missing early shopper momentum entirely. So my advice is that take this on board for 2026 by pulling demand forward to meet the early shoppers with bundles, wish lists, price locks, and testing offers with AI-driven audiences before the peak to find the right signals. And while AI is reshaping how shoppers discover and decide, the human touch still matters. 35% of consumers plan to use AI for at least one holiday shopping task. 23% intend to use AI to help find deals. But, and this is critical, 73% of shoppers says human touch matters. 24% buy more for brands who offer personalization, with repeat purchases rising. So you ask me, what is the lesson then? Well, the lesson is that AI enables efficiency, but humanity builds loyalty. If you navigate this balance and build trust with shoppers at scale, you will convert wariness into curiosity and curiosity into comfort. AI is reshaping how people shop. Brands that skip AI-powered discovery and personalization will lose share, especially with younger and higher-spending shoppers. If you want the full picture on consumer and business attitudes to the holiday retail season, you can download our complete report at shopifyholidayRetail.com, and no email is required. This is real data, clear insights, no fluff. Finally, let's talk about what underpins everything we just discussed: unified commerce. Retail is everywhere. 75% of French consumers say they're more likely to discover products across any channel. This is up from just 64% in 2024. Whether it's in store, online, social media, or through word of mouth and influencers, your customers are shopping everywhere. The businesses that will be resilient for the long term are those that enable customers to shop from wherever they are and stay connected to consumers across multiple surfaces. At Shopify, over 90% of the merchants who have installed 2 or more sales channels. They understand a fundamental truth: you can't afford not to be where your customers are. The merchants on our platform we see having the most success all have a considered and strategic unified commerce approach that meets their customers wherever they are, delivering 3 core benefits. Number 1, channel blending. That means removing knowledge silos. Your customer data, your inventory, your operations work as one system without any fragmented pieces. Second one, adaptability, which is really the overarching theme of this whole session. You need to future-proof your business. When the next platform or channel will emerge, you will be ready. And third, better experiences. You need to build customer trust and retention by delivering seamless experiences regardless of where they engage with you. A single view of the customer isn't a luxury. It's actually you growing with confidence. That's enough from me. I'm going to invite on stage my 2 colleagues, Peyman and Alexandre, to delve into these topics further together. Peyman is Shopify Field CTO, and he'll be sharing the perspective of CTOs in Shopify and the inside view that technical leaders have within large retailers. Alexandre leads our commercial enterprise team and will share insights around the perspective of enterprise globally, but also in France. Before we dive into our conversation and I sit down with you, can you each give one line your background with large retailers so everyone knows where you're coming from? Peyman, you go first.
There we go. Can you hear me? All right. Hello. By the way, I can't see anybody.
No,
it's quite
we
bright.
can't see anything.
So pardon me if you raise your hand and have questions. Second thing, when people see that picture and my title, I have 2 questions. First, that picture doesn't look like him. It's AI generated. Second, what does a field CTO do? A field CTO, very similar to a CTO, but focuses externally. So my job is to work with our enterprise brands, relatively large, to help them with architectural challenges, or if they're interested in commerce, talk about commerce. My background is retail and tech. I've led engineering, product, and data, and it's lovely to be in France. Alex?
We said one-liner payment.
I know.
Mine is even worse. Nice to meet you. I'm Alex. I'm leading the enterprise revenue team at Shopify in Europe. I've been in the commerce space on the 2 sides of the table for the last 10 years. It's a very long list. I hope you have a bit of time. I started at Salesforce, then SAP, then Adobe, then Oracle, then Commerce Tools, and now Shopify. So a bit...
The last stop.
And we'll stay here now. But I've led revenue team, but I've also been on the other side of the table, where I've been a founder and an entrepreneur myself with my wife. We have landed a D2C brand that we have scaled and sold. So I really feel for you guys, especially this week, like it's really the World Cup of e-commerce with Black Friday being around the corner. So I just want to acknowledge that and like thank you guys for spending like 40 minutes of this busy week with us. Good luck for Black Friday as well. Like let's make sure there is no downtime and let's make sure you make a lot of sales.
Thanks, guys. So everywhere you walk into the hallways of the trade show, every conversation, every session, even during lunch today, Peyman, AI is everywhere. Everyone is talking about it. So as an expert, I want to ask you, AI, what is real and what is fluff?
Okay. Well, there is no simple answer to it. I'll try to break it down. There is a lot of fluff, but there is a lot of substance. I counted coming in towards the main stage, I think I counted 35 booths with AI prominently on it. So you look around, you go, okay, there's got to be, some people call it a bubble, some people call it a major hype. The question that, the thing you can't question is the impact that it's already had and that it will continue to have. There's a graph by McKinsey. They did a study, and AI it's been around for years. They did a study and they looked at enterprises from 2016 up until now. So the past 8 years, they've looked at the adoption and the impact of it. The adoption has gone, it's quadrupled, so it's gone up by 400%. With Gen AI, in 2 years, it's achieved the same thing. So a lot of people are adopting it, but at the same time, a lot of new technologies coming out. I was quite fortunate to have the announcements by Google last week. So last week was quite a key week for, if you're into AI and technology. They released a new model called Gemini 3. They released a new visual system called Nano Banana Pro. Meta announced new stuff. So it's been quite a big week in general for tech. So I would say a lot of fluff, but with a lot of impact. The key thing I would do is look at your business, look at what you need and your customers need, and adopt it as soon as you can. Give it a test and see what happens.
Thanks, Peyman. Alex, I'm going to turn to you, and I would like to see, where did you see AI deliver some real outcomes, real results? By that, I mean conversion being up, returns being down, or faster build cycles.
I mean, I speak to merchants every day, and I think what works in AI is when you don't try to reinvent the wheels and you focus to apply AI when it improves the day-to-day life of your teams or the day-to-day life of your customer. So I don't know, just to name a few, I remember conversation with e-commerce managers at Intersport, or even more locally here in France, like the guys at the Braderie. And they tell me how the AI assistants that we have built within Shopify, it's called Sidekick, is just changing their life and giving them a lot of time back. They use it for scenarios I don't know, what was the best performing promotion last year, and then with this simple prompt in just a second, the assistants will tell you I don't know, that was in Italy on that day. And then as a follow-up prompt, you could just say create that same promotion criteria and launch a promotion for next 7 days in France. So whereas in the past you could have spent a few minutes to set that up, now it's just done in seconds. And you could go even further to say the same AI assistant, create a landing page for that country, bring that landing page on the front page, where in the past that could have taken, I don't know, a week to do. Again, you just do that in seconds. So that's really making real impact. And just to finish on that point, because I think it's also important to think of our customers, the consumer, where you should spend time to implement AI is where your customer want to go. So you talk about it, Émilie, in your presentation. Everybody is doing research on LLMs today. And also tomorrow, and it's today already with Shopify, they will want to purchase within that same conversation with the LLM. So I'm thinking of our partnerships that we did with OpenAI at Shopify, and some of the merchants which we have given early access. I'm thinking of Skims, the makeup brand. Sorry, Skims. No, Skims is
Kardashian brand.
Yeah, you know better. Yeah, the underwear brand. Or Glossier, the cosmetic brands, they were given access to check out within ChatGPT through Shopify, and the early stats are amazing, conversion rates, customer happiness, removing friction is what we want to give access to our consumer, and this is what a good usage of AI is.
I've got to say, it's not all perfect either, though, right? So it's there's a lot of good stories around it. Going back to the first, when you asked me first, Emily. You still need the human touch, as Emily said at the beginning, right? So there's a lot of efficiency that provides, Alex is right. But because of how these LLMs work at the moment, so it's not fully bulletproof and perfect. So definitely recommend, if you're using it, to have your a human involved to review and then process, like Alex was saying, have a new page that's developed by our Sidekick when it gets propagated to in front of your customers. Definitely review it.
Yeah. So there are some amazing use cases out there these days. Everyone is talking about it. Yet we see actually only a fraction of retailers actually embrace AI. According to you, Peyman, why don't more retailers take advantage of it? And what may be the blocker?
That's a loaded question. Look, there are a few reasons. One is you've got to take a risk to put something in front of your customers. A lot of people are more open to putting AI in the hands of their employees, right? Because that can be controlled. If you make a mistake, you learn from it and you move forward. But when it comes to putting it in front of your customers, It takes a bit of guts to do that. Secondly, there is a bit of skills gap in terms of AI is considerably new, Gen AI that is. So you need to have the skills and the knowledge to be able to implement it. And thirdly, especially in retail, because my background is retail, usually you want your kind of competition to try it out first a little bit before you put your, you invest money in it. And then talking about investing money, it's business case, right? So money right now, it's tight. People go, is it worth spending the money? And generally the answer is yes, but you go through the cycle of validating it, working with your system integrators or partners to say, yeah, if it's worth it or not. That's what I see it.
Thanks. I want to switch gears here a little bit and come back to something a bit less hype, but yet fundamental. Alex, I'll turn to you for this question. What is the one belief about enterprise commerce that was true 5 years ago and that is wrong now?
I will say, and I've seen it firsthand at my previous employer, at Commerce Tools, where I think back in the days, 5 years ago, you had to be unique and differentiated. So at that time, I feel people wanted to build everything on their own. They wanted to have everything customized to their own. I'm thinking of like a checkout page at that time, to the level of pixel. It has to be unique to your brand, and nobody else should have that same experience. That was kind of what was true 5 years ago, where I think today it's no longer true. Like, people realize that what matters in the end is convenience for your consumer, is speed, is agility, and doing all of that at a fraction of the cost. So talking about checkout again, I think people now realize that checkout need to be everywhere, and you need, whether it's, I don't know, like checking out on TikTok, whether it's checking out on ChatGPT, this is what you need. And in order to do that with that kind of speed, doing that with like a state-of-the-art architectures, with hundreds of microservices, it's truly hundreds. Like we bring some customer to Shopify that just come to us, said, okay, I've got 150 applications, help me make your magics and bring it down to 10, like the one that truly matter and the one that will make a real impact for the experience of the customer. So I feel that that's a new world we live in.
Thanks. I'm sure everyone in this room has thought about their road and their planning of 2026 and their digital transformation, what they achieved this year, what they want to achieve next year. And yet at the same time, everyone knows that not investing in innovation in uncertain times is actually a bad business advice. Yet, Peyman, you again. What is keeping some decision makers to make a move? To be bold, I would say.
Look, there's a lot of technical debt, especially in retail and tech. That's hard to move away from. I know Alex is saying, customization, you'll go away, but there is a reason there's customization, right? So people have built it, they're used to it, their customers are used to it. To go away from that to something even better on paper, it's hard, right? So you need to go through various checks, and then you need to go to your board, and that takes time. Also, I alluded to a little bit, but things at the moment cost money. And the moment it is an additional cost, people start questioning it. And you need to figure out the opportunity cost between staying the same and moving. That's the tricky part. A lot of people that we engage with, and I'm not in a commercial, so I focus on tech and product. Every time we talk to people, people don't go, actually, I don't want to move because the tech is bad. They go, shit, like I can't move because I need to convince somebody to spend the money, and it's tough right now. So I'm just going to stay. So that's why, in my opinion.
Thank you. Let's bring it back to France a little bit. So a couple of years ago, I actually gave a similar session at an event discussing digital native brands and all those brands that have grown pre and during COVID, very innovative, led by young, inspired entrepreneurs that were leveraging technology and being super agile. And they really test the boundaries of legacy retailers because they would think, like consumer first, they would develop a very strong storytelling, and they would have ways to manage the consumer experience in a very, very novel fashion. Alex, I would like to hear from you what you think legacy brands still have to steal from the NVBs today.
Let me think about this one. I mean, the reality that these D2C brands, digital native, very often are really obsessed with removing friction wherever they can. That means they will want to adopt new behaviors first, like moving to ChatGPT checkout, for example, is one of them. But that also means that they want to try new things. They are ready to fail, and it's okay, very quickly. They iterate until they win, and they move on. And I think that's what makes them unique. And I feel that like more traditional retailer should learn how to be a little bit more like that, at least on where they can scale and like where they can make more money quickly, right? Of course, like you are traditional, let's say you're a luxury brand, it's part of your DNA to be slow, to be traditional, so you don't have to reinvent yourself completely, but at least when you know there is level of growth, like just make sure you become agile and fast, like you need to be there as well. And then the second things that make them unique, these smaller D2C brands, is that from the start, they usually go for simplicity when it comes to the tech stack. They go only for like AI native and cloud native application that can scale with them. I'm thinking of merchants like Gymshark, On Running, West Wings. They have joined Shopify like in their very early days. A very small D2C brand at that time. Now they make billions through Shopify, but they never had to re-platform. When you think of it, like traditional brands, every 3 years having to re-platform, like from all of the previous companies that I've worked for, it's painful, it's expensive, it takes time. Nobody wants to do that, especially in the new world we live in.
Yeah, I think also, so we're thinking about the online world, but one thing that we've observed over the last couple of years is those digital native brands, they actually started to embrace the offline space. And most of them have opened first a pop-up or a store or many stores. And now we have a lot of this generation of brands that also have a foot in the offline world through leveraging rapid POS deployment. So I think like when we were talking at the end of the presentation about the retail is everywhere, that includes all the digital touch points, but we should not neglect the actual physical experience, because this is how the relationship with the consumers gets more reinforced. I don't know, Peyman, if you want to chime in on this one.
I agree. I just go back to Alex's point. Being digitally native and not having stores and being a company that's, let's say, similar to Shopify, 20 years old, it's easier for you to rip the Band-Aid and move forward. When you talk to, especially in Europe, when you got companies that are 300 years old or 400 years old, it's quite difficult to change the ways of working. So I'm still puzzled on how to kind of shift the approach for them or support them in terms of mentality and culture. It's because tech is not the bottleneck, just like you said, Alex. It's how you think about it.
I want to broaden the conversation because we've talked about the retailers, their consumers, their internal teams, and the technology surrounding them that can help achieve their goals. But there's also a big actor in the equation, which is the ecosystem, aka the partners. So partners, a lot of retailers are asking themselves, oh, do I need to have a partner, a system integrator, an agency, a consultant, a designer coming into my conversation when I'm rethinking or building my next digital roadmap? I wanted to ask you both on different aspects of it. What is, according to you, the role or the place partners should have, both on the tech side of things, but also on the commercial, more CRO side of things for retailers?
I mean, if your question is like, what should I build versus what should I buy, or like, when should I partner with someone? I think you should build what makes you unique. So if you are a manufacturer of socks, continue to do like the best damn socks in the world. Make sure you do that yourself. And to your point, Peyman, earlier, if it's taking a lot of time to do that, just continue to do it this way because it works. And especially be conscious that the consumer like to buy stuff that are locally made. So if you can do it in France, like that's what you need to continue to build yourself. Don't go for partners for this one. You should go for partners when you are looking for speed, you are looking to move fast, gain an expertise that you don't have. So again, like talking about my checkout experience before, we are helping millions of merchants around the world at Shopify to do their checkout, right? So we know things or two of where to put that checkout button and this kind of stuff. If you have just your own perspective, like maybe it's not enough. You should partner with someone. And then what to buy? Of course, buy Shopify.
I would give you slightly different. It's a love and hate relationship with partnership. So if you're thinking about making a purchase like Alex was saying, try to partner with somebody essentially to do a better job, drive down costs, right? So if I speak from my experience sitting on the other side, on the merchant side, we were proceeding on implementation of a tech. It was an ERP, quite significant, long. We had negotiated a price in the millions, hundreds of millions. And by engaging a partner, we managed to lower it by even single percentage point, which was quite significant. So that was to our benefit. When it comes to implementation of tech, again, love and hate, you've got to look at your core competencies from a tech and architectural perspective. When you do it with a partner, they've seen the good, bad, and ugly. So they've made the mistakes, they've seen it across the board, so they're bound to save you some time and energy and give you the best ways to design it. But they're also going to charge you. If you think you can do it cheaper and better, do it yourself. In general, you can do it with a partner. And then there's a third part to it as well. Partner is not just an implementation partner, though, right? I was quite observing with all the booths coming down. Shopify would not be where it is. Even, forget Shopify. Us as humans would not be where we are without our partners. Your family and extended beyond it. If you look at all the booths, we've got partnerships with majority of them. And that's how Shopify has grown. And then it's easier for you to do it from a tech perspective. If you look at, let's say, the Metas of the world, the Apples of the world, the Shopifys of the world, they've all become that big because of their partners. So I'm a big fan of that.
I mean, it won't surprise anyone if I say I'm very pro-partners in this room. So I think the partners, they can offer you a benchmark analysis of your project because they see many retailers such as yourselves in certain situations, and they can come up with creative way and they can stretch the technology beyond what you think is doable. So for me, I think like this is definitely like the accelerator to every good project to have partners in the mix. And there are many partners in...
We should have asked you that question.
Yeah, I should have asked this to myself. Thank you, guys. I think we're learning a lot today. Hopefully, everyone has learned and gotten some good insights. I would like to close this session with a bit of a fire drill for both of you and ask, I'm going to say a sentence with 2 missing words, and I will let you... Yes, Peyman, it's happening. I'm going to let you complete it. So, Alex, I'll start with you. The sentence says, in 24 months, every leading retailer will have stopped and have started. So what will they stop? What will they start in 24 months, retailers?
So in 24 months, also based on the stats that you have shared earlier, I think you mentioned 55% of the shopper today do discovery through LLM, so like the ChatGPT of the world. Looking at that, continuing to accelerate, I think that in 24 months, retailer will stop approaching checkout as a web page with fields and buttons. And in 24 months, this retailer will approach checkout as a conversation. That's where e-commerce will take place, in my opinion.
You can tell I don't rehearse. Look, I'll go, retailers will become less task-oriented and more goal-oriented. And can I elaborate on it?
Yes.
So if you look at how we're doing things with the teams currently, if you're a retailer or in tech, whatever you do, right now you're going to your teams or you're doing it yourself, I need to complete X, Y, and Z. You're not defining a goal in which you're going to give it. If the trajectory of innovation continues the way it is, we're going to tell, quote unquote, an agent in which you're going to go, hey, I want to launch in France. this sort of product, this group, can you do it for me? And then it will come out with a plan, how we'll roll it out, the webpage, all of it, the products that will go to it. That's what we're thinking it will happen.
Less task, more
Yeah,
goals.
More goals, yeah.
I think that's an excellent way to wrap this up. Thank you so much, everyone. You can come see us. We'll be by the Shopify booth. Thank you.
And good luck for Black Friday.
Order management et point de vente. Les clients de ces solutions sont à différentes étapes de leur transformation omnicanal. Tous subissent beaucoup de pression externe et peuvent bénéficier des nouveautés